the last thing that we're going to go ahead and we're going to talk about, and I'm going to go ahead and bring us back to standard view here, is that what I want to talk about is I want us to go ahead and talk about the indie games that they went ahead and they went ahead and they decided to show off to everybody on stage there. Okay, because the thing is that when it came to the original Xbox, well, actually more the Xbox 360, okay, one of the things that helped them go out of their way and actually stay in such a commanding lead for so long during that particular generation was the fact that Microsoft was very friendly to the indie developer and the indie publisher, all right? When it came out to the smaller developers and everything else, when they first opened up Xbox Live and Xbox Arcade, they were like, hey, if you're somebody who's looking for major distribution, all right, and you don't have like a huge amount of cash to go ahead and sign up with any of the third-party publishers, and you want to go out of your way and take the risk to be an indie developer, an independent publisher yourself, we're going to give you an avenue to go ahead and touch on that. Okay. And yeah, the sizzle reel that they showed in the middle of their presentation, when it came down to the number of indie games that they got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, around 22 dozen fucking indie games that they went ahead and that they gave space to and they gave exposure to on their E3 stage. I gotta say, if you're going to go out of your way and you're going to show everybody that you're making an earnest effort to open up your library a bit, that definitely helped out a lot. What did you guys think about what they showed off? Anything?
Oh, I thought Theme was going to say something.
Yeah.
The indie games, there was, I mean, look at the names of them. There's 20-something games, so that's definitely interesting. Ones that stand out for me are PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds. I'm very interested in that.
Yeah.
What is it? Robot Infinity or RoboCraft Infinity. Dunk Lords. You know, that kind of looked like a NBA Street type of game. You know, kind of. You know, it's not really a basketball game. You know what I mean? Kind of like that. Minion Masters look really good. Dark and Light look really good. Hello Neighbor, that was a little strange, but it, like I said, it has a right to exist. I mean, but those are the couple games that actually that caught me. You know, that stood out to me as you know, as indie games. So, and like I said, I'm very happy that they're like, Xbox is like, look, here's all our indie games. We're friendly. You know, ID Xbox. You know, here and 22 games. That's crazy.
Yeah, and like I said, I think it's more telling the fact that they were willing to go ahead and share the conference time that they had available to them for this particular briefing, and they went ahead and they brought those on stage. You know, granted, yeah, it was like a whole montage, and there was like maybe 3 to 5 second snippets of each and every title with displayed out. But it does go out of the way to go ahead and, like I said, it's one of those things where if just by itself, okay, if the conference by itself, and there wasn't all of this discussion about the state of Microsoft leading up into it, people would sit there and say, oh yeah, that looks pretty interesting. If it's something that piques my interest or something that piques my curiosity, I'll go ahead and I'll check it out. But considering the position that Microsoft is in, okay, and considering not what only fans have been saying about Microsoft, but also considering what the press and the industry knowledgeable and experts have been saying about Microsoft, this is, the fact that they're going to go ahead and they're opening up their doors and they're going out of their way and say, hey, look, we're going to share our stage with you guys. It goes a long way in showing that, hey, Microsoft might actually be listening, and they might actually be trying to make efforts to shore up the really weak points in their particular market right now, in their particular market structure. So as far as this goes, I got to say that indie games. Hey, if Microsoft is gonna make themselves affable and hospitable to independent developers again, God bless them. Okay, really, God bless them. All right, because the thing is that one of the titles that we went out of our way and we were extremely excited about, that we went over in our trailers, was Ori and the Will o' the Wisp. All right, without that opportunity for them to go ahead and present themselves out as an indie developer and to publish the initial Ori and the Blind Forest, the development house behind that would have been pretty much not dead in the water, but they would have pretty much been stuck saying, all right, is this it, or is something bigger going to happen? Yeah. And the truth of the matter is, I'd rather see creative talent like that awarded and given exposure out to, a much larger audience out there, a much more mainstream audience, Yeah.
Dean, do you have any thoughts on the ID games?
I'm a big fan of indie games.
Yeah.
Big fan of them. Because most of them, these motherfuckers are trying to get their foot in the door. Yes. Some of them are short, but they're straight to the point, and overall, they're fucking fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
If Microsoft can continue this path as far as getting things that are exclusive on their console, I do have a beef with a little of that, but that'll be explained next video. But at least they showed that they are willing to go out and at least try to market certain things that you can get that experience there.
Yeah.
It's just not a limited experience, but nevertheless, at least they showed a handful of games. they did. They showed a handful. Now, granted, most of those games we already fucking knew about. Some of those games were announced 2 years ago or something like that. But at least we saw gameplay. At least we saw in-engine footage for the Xbox One X. That was important, because if they wouldn't have done that, then we would have X'd it out. We're like, wait a minute, why aren't you showing footage for your new fucking system? You're doing this already, but you're calling it the X. Wait, what the fuck are you doing? But anyway, this reminds me of when we were trying to get in clubs.
Yep.
Overseas.
In Japan. Yep.
Motherfuckers like, no,
no American.
But anyway, I'm looking forward to what else can be announced and what else can be just brought out throughout this lifespan now. Now that they're going to have their foot in the door, I'm just like, okay, light it up.
Yeah.
Please fucking do that.
One thing, too, is like I've said before, that I really wasn't a fan of ID games at first. I'm talking about we're talking about the beginning of the 360 era. I was not a fan of the indies. I just thought they were just trash games. Then, my friends, people in this video were like, play them. And I was like, okay. I played them and I was like, Xbox indie games, yes, please. And I was like, it opened my eyes, especially like Limbo, Inside, what's that one about that if light doesn't exist unless
Closure.
You got games like that. And I started playing them, I was like, hell yeah.
If you've never played Closure is fucking awesome.
So,
yes, it is.
So what I'm saying is, I was like, ID games, screw that. They're not. Then I gave them a chance, and I'm really, really glad that Xbox is starting to bring that more closer to the chest for ID Xbox, and it really gives those studios an opportunity to shine and move on to bigger, better things to become, studios like Bethesda and Lionhead and all these other studios that came up and disappeared. There's a couple that disappeared, but what I'm saying is that they had that chance to come in and say, here we are, and I am all for that. Yes.
I will say that, like I said, a little bit earlier in this particular video, and also toward the tail end of the previous video. All right. Although I'm still upset they don't have a Filipino dude as a member of Crackdown. All right, that really cuts to my soul. All right. I will say,
the thieves.
Well, yeah, but you had 3 black dudes on the team of Crackdown, all right? And they were running around as superpowers, and they didn't get eaten by a shark at the fucking end, okay? All right, but I gotta say that so far with all the stuff that we've covered, whether or not these particular these particular trailers for larger budget games, or also the mention of indie games, from what I've seen from Microsoft. Look, they are trying. I will give it to them. They are trying. Okay, somebody in their head offices. Okay, if this is Phil Spencer's sole efforts, I will recognize that. That he is making an effort to go ahead and change not only what gamers' perception of Xbox is, but also what casual consumers' perception of Xbox is. Yep. And I applaud that. Okay. Yep. That doesn't mean that we don't have reservations, and we're going to cover that in the next video. Yep. All right. But look, I applaud this effort. Okay, and we've had nothing but shining things to say. Other nagging details aside about somebody's fucked up accent on the voice actor and whatnot. But other small nagging issues aside, we've had mostly positive things to go ahead and say over these last few trailers. So I got to say, what I've seen so far, I like it. Okay, I'm my whole thing was that, especially with E3 2015, I was like, it looks like Microsoft is actually giving me an opportunity, a reason to go ahead and be interested in their platform. And then 2016, the rest of 2015 rolled through, and 2016 happened, and it was like, no, really, there was no reason for me to go ahead and be interested in the platform. Yeah. 2017, okay, which really this is their particular E3 to go ahead and lose, and we'll go into that in just a few minutes. They're showing a solid effort, all right, from what we've seen so far. Was there anything that we wanted to go ahead and cover, or just throw in over the last few trailers, or the indie games, or anything else before we move on to the next topic, guys?
No. That was it.
All right. So what we're going to do is that we're going to end this particular video right here. We're going to move on to the next video, which is going to go give our overall thoughts and review. And although I hate it, it sounds like a childish thing to go ahead and grade Microsoft's performance on this. But we're going to go ahead and give our overall review of Microsoft E3 2017 press briefing, or press conference as it was. What we really want to know is, as far as the last 2 trailers that we saw, Sea of Thieves and Crackdown 3, and also the discussion for the indie games, what are your thoughts, folks? All right, let us know what you think about them. Let us know what you think about our feedback on, are we off base? Are we full of shit? You can let us know by leaving a comment below. All right. While you're at it, mash on that like button. Hit subscribe, especially if you like what we're doing here, because we really appreciate that if you do. But with that, we're going to go ahead and we're going to wrap up this particular video and continue on to the next. I am the Reverend.
The Theme here.
And I'm Grey Mouse 1.
Once again, for the benefits of common sense, logic, and gaming. Credits.